Hello, everyone. This is John here with Father Dennis Gill. Father is the director of the Office for Divine Worship here in the Archdiocese. Father, thank you for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome, John.
So, Father, as director of this office, what exactly do you do?
Well, John, the Office for Divine Worship has three principal functions in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. The first function is to support the celebrations of the sacred liturgy carried out by the Archbishop. And that would include not only when he celebrates at the Cathedral Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul, the mother church of the Archdiocese, but also when he celebrates throughout the Archdiocese. As you know, the Archbishop is the chief priest of our local church, and he has an extraordinarily important responsibility when it comes to the celebration of the sacred liturgy. It should be excellent in every way, in terms of the manner in which it's carried out, in all of its features, but especially in providing a way for the priests and deacons and faithful to encounter the mystery of Christ the liturgy celebrates. And so the Office for Divine Worship is a support to him in the preparation of those liturgical celebrations, again, here at the Cathedral Basilica and all throughout the Archdiocese of Philadelphia.
Mm.
The second work of the Office for Divine Worship is to provide liturgical formation. And that is formation not only for the faithful, but also for the priests and deacons of the Archdiocese. And that's a huge word, formation, and that's an ongoing project. For priests and deacons, it's ongoing presentations on the liturgy, on the various rites that we celebrate. For example, we are looking forward to a revised English translation of the Order of Penance. We'll see that in 2023. There's no change to the rite or the structure of the ritual book, but the revision of translation gives us an opportunity to look at the book and how the sacrament is to be celebrated, especially in the individual rite of reconciliation. And so I would need to not only provide for our priests some updating and some catechesis on it, but also deacons and the whole church who celebrates that sacrament, but especially our priests who would be the ministers of the sacrament. So formation for priests and deacons, and it's ongoing. And also the formation of the faithful, especially with liturgical ministries. So the Office for Divine Worship conducts workshops all throughout the Archdiocese, all throughout the year, in music, liturgical music, for extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion, lectors, altar servers. So providing for the formation of the local church in terms of liturgy is very important. The Second Vatican Council, as you know, in the Constitution of the Sacred Liturgy, emphasized how important this formation was for both clergy and the lay faithful. And it's a project that we need to take very, very seriously. And not too long ago, Pope Francis himself wrote a letter on liturgical formation, which emphasized this point all the more so today. And I think it's a point that we have to take very, very seriously. So now to the third work of the Office for Divine Worship. The Office for Divine Worship is entrusted by the Archbishop to oversee the celebration of the sacraments of Christian initiation. And that would include Christian initiation for adults as well as for children. So we have direct input to our parishes for preparation and the actual celebration of baptism, confirmation, and the Holy Eucharist. And then for adults, we assist those in parishes who support the pastor in preparing adult candidates for the Easter sacraments. So they would be the three principal works. And then we do everything else and anything else that comes our way, and we are happy to do it.
Oh, very. You sound like a busy man, Father Gill.
You know what? I don't like that word busy. Busy suggests that I don't have time. I'd rather say that my schedule is full.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
So you're around the diocese a lot. You get to meet a lot of people. Of what importance do you see the liturgy having in the hearts of the faithful, in their faith formation, in their relationship with Christ, and in their deepening commitment to Christian perfection?
Well, John, that is an outstanding question. May I take it apart?
Oh, please.
Okay. Unfortunately, today, there is a poor grasp on the part of many of what the liturgy actually is. For many people, the liturgy is something on the sideline. Sure. Something that if they do, it's occasional for many on a Sunday. I like to say, and I think this is helpful to everyone, that the liturgy is Jesus. You know that.
Yes.
And Jesus on the cross and risen from the dead. A real, active event. If people had an understanding of what the liturgy is and that they can actually participate in it, it would change everything. In fact, what people don't know is they were baptized for the liturgy. That is one of the principal reasons you and I were baptized. We went into the water and came out of the water as a priest to spend our entire Christian lives united to the offering of Jesus to his Father, to give his Father praise for us to grow in holiness. And so, you're right, I go throughout the Archdiocese every week of every month of the year. And in some way, I find a way to make this point. Because until we have a clear grasp of what the liturgy is, then we won't value how important it is to be properly or authentically formed through our understanding to substantially participate in it. And I see that as my personal and constant work as the director of the Office for Divine Worship. In addition to being the director of the Office for Divine Worship, I'm also the rector of our Cathedral Basilica. And it was Archbishop Chaput's idea that these two positions should come together in one person. And it makes a lot of sense because one feeds into the other and supports the other. One feeds into the other and each support the other. And I find great satisfaction in seeing in our cathedral the ritual display of what I just said to you. I also teach at our seminary.
Yes.
You were one of my finest students.
Oh, thank you, Father. Well, you were my finest teachers.
We're not going to cut that.
they're all very good.
Anyhow, I'm also a professor at Mundelein at the Liturgical Institute in Chicago. I teach there every other summer. And believe it or not, I am the parochial administrator of two other parishes. St. Andrew Lithuanian Parish, which has two churches here in Philadelphia, and St. Agnes St. John Nepomucene Slovak Parish at 4th and Brown. So in all of those instances, I have the very same center. And I think because I have the very same center, it gives me great peace and allows me to do everything I can do. And that center is a conviction that I am in communion all the time with Jesus and his offering to the Father. Whether I'm talking to you right now, or whether I'm at the altar, picking up the bread and wine, praying the very words of Jesus. That's the most excellent form of communion. But that's also what gives this moment value as well. Does that make sense?
It does, Father. Thank you. Yeah, I think it was truly a gift to have you in class. I think you transformed my understanding of the liturgy from, like you said, the chore that we have to do on Sunday to not only a gift I get to receive, but I get to be a gift to the Father through the Church, through the Son and his bride, the Church. And that's understanding. It brings a lot of freedom. It brings a lot of peace.
Yes.
So thank you for all your work you do in the diocese, Father.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a privilege.
Thank you so much for being with us, Father. This is really a privilege to be here.
It's a pleasure. And I'm so happy to show you and the other seminarians our Office for Divine Worship. The one thing I'd like to say to you is the one thing I'd like to say to you is that the Office for Divine Worship is truly a service-oriented office for the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. So we're here for the priests, the deacons, the faithful, to assist everyone in the celebration of the mysteries of Christ. So thank you.
Thank you, Father.